Everything's bolting.
Yes.
Welcome back to Returning to Basics. This is Neil and Teresa, and we're out in the backyard, and Teresa's working on the raised bed, and it's June the 21st, and everything is bolting. And that's a little worm that you're gonna squish. Okay.
I saw we have a patch of lettuce over there that has really taken a hit. And I just saw a wasp fly up right over there. I saw a wasp fly up and land on it, and I thought, what are you doing? It really didn't think anything about me. It was just focused on this one thing, and it was a bug that was eating the lettuce. The wasp picked it up, carried it off.
Wow.
I didn't know they'd do that.
Well, I knew hornets would carry away other bugs and things. Look, we've got a little grasshopper there.
Yes, grasshoppers have been the worst part. And you can get it.
I got his antenna.
They are extremely hard, see.
Those are radishes.
Yeah. I'm not sure I'm going to like them.
Well, we planted them because Stacy on Off Grid with Doug and Stacy said if you don't like radishes, try baking them. They don't have that bite.
Yeah.
And so we decided to raise them for that reason.
We would try a small batch and see how we like them.
Move our bird detractor out there.
Truthfully, bird detector is not that big an issue.
Bird
We
detractor.
ran off rabbits last night. When we had puppies, we never had that problem.
No.
Squirrels, rabbits, and moles were not a problem when we had puppies.
And she's referencing our Labrador retrievers. For many years we had Labrador retrievers. We'll put a picture of Rachel and Leah and Anna in on the video so you can see them. But they're all gone now. And we're dogless, and in our latter years we've chosen to not get another dog because we have this property and other responsibilities within the family, and then we have 40 acres up in the Ozarks that we call Dogwood Trace, and that's a lot to care for, and you need to be able to come and go without having to worry about dogs, unfortunately. Look at our Dunstan chestnut. It's doing pretty good. And that's one of our Chinese chestnuts. This is a Chinese chestnut right here by Teresa. It's doing well. And this is a Dunstan chestnut right here. The jury's out on it. I keep clipping it back, and I do find, I don't think you can do it with that, Teresa.
No, I can't.
I do find life, and I am doing everything they told me to do. I put this little white tube around it to have moisture, and well, it also holds in moisture. I put it in native soil. Actually, the ones that we put in our potting mix that we make, which is native soil and compost and manure and potting soil. Look how great they're doing.
Yeah, they're doing really good.
So
I was noticing.
I think they don't know as much.
These are putting out really nice looking.
Yeah, that's putting on new growth.
Uh-huh.
That one, this Dunstan's putting on new growth too. And this other Chinese chestnut's putting on new growth. And what am I doing? I'm watering the pee out of them. And I'm not this one because it's so moist all the time. And
Well, the soil mixture is different.
yeah,
Water drains through
I think
what we'd created better than just dirt.
I haven't written it off, but I'm not depending on it to make it. And I don't think I'll buy another Dunstan chestnut. I think I'll just, it's a hybrid between the Chinese and the American. And so I know since it's a cousin to these Chinese chestnuts, I'll put all three of them together. And so I don't think I need another one for any type of fertilization, you know, or cross-pollination. I think these will cross-pollinate. I may be wrong, but that's what I'm going to try.
There it is.
Do we have another caterpillar?
Yep, right there.
Small.
Yeah, tiny. Well, look what it did, though. Look at the damage it did.
Wow, if it was large.
Yeah, that would all be gone.
You think that one little thing did that?
Uh-huh.
I don't. I bet you there's another one.
Well, there probably is. I think I'll dust them with diatomaceous earth.
With DT, or DE, I think they call it DE.
Diatomaceous earth. DT is a chemical.
Yeah.
This is what that wasp was picking up. Was one of these. These itty bitty tiny little caterpillar.
What is that bug right over there?
That's a wasp.
Oh, that's a wasp. Okay.
Uh-huh. He's searching for these.
Well, if he wouldn't sting you, you could reach down there and give it to him. But
I'm not touching him. Yeah, he was right in here. And see, he's got something.
oh, good.
Yep, he's got something in his mouth.
Good for him.
It just kind of looks a little bit yellower than the oh, he dropped it.
He dropped it and left it. Let's see what it is. Did you knock it off?
Yeah, it's down in here. But that's what it is right there.
Let's try and figure out what that is.
It's a bug.
It was a worm
He sucked the life
or a
out.
piece of a
I
worm.
better kill this other one before I drop it on there.
Are you going to do anything to your tomato plants over in your other?
Over there I did earlier. I went through and took suckers off, and then I let me put the buggy stuff down. I put this kind of stuff in my worm bed and in my compost. I took the tops that are about to flower off the lettuce. So, I mean, this is good stuff. It'll decay, and then you can use it in your soil later. So,
Absolutely. That's we have a video coming out this week on compost bins and on composting, and so you guys tune back in for that. It's good, and Teresa's already done one on her compost worm bin.
I tried about 3 years ago. I decided that we needed to, with retirement years coming, we needed to make some changes. Number one, I wanted to go more organic, and number two, I wanted to save money. And with this massive oak that we have out here, that's probably 150 years old.
At least 14 foot around, 14 and a half foot around in circumference.
It puts out so many leaves, and our other trees are coming on, so they put out a lot of leaves. And those can be mulched, and that just turns into gold for raised beds and composting. So
That's our dog friend Munchie next door.
hi, Munchie. Good puppy. She's getting old.
She's getting old.
But yes, don't. I have seen on YouTube. Do not put your clippings off of tomato plants in
Your worm bed.
in your worm bed. or something like that. Tomato plants are in the nightshade family. You never want to eat anything but the fruit. Radishes, you can eat the leaves off of radishes, but you don't do that with tomato plants. So they were talking about being careful and realizing that, and being careful about what you did with your clippings. So anyway, I went through and pulled off the suckers. If you don't know what a sucker is, unfortunately I don't have one to show you, I don't think.
They grow in between the stalk and a limb.
Look here. Here's the main vine, and here is a leaf.
A regular limb.
And then this right here that I cut off, that is called a sucker.
There's one right here in between.
So,
and they do nothing except extract nutrients from your vines.
Well, they will flower.
Some of them will.
Yeah, but the thing is, you have to have good ventilation all through. Tomato vines are very susceptible to funguses and mildew, and so you need good airflow through all this. It pains me. I had to cut one sucker off that had blooms on it, but it was all piled in with a bunch of other ones, and it was stifling airflow down low, and I need to get some straw out here and put on this, although this has quite a bit of compost in it, so this is better. But your funguses, a lot of them are going to come from the dirt, so you trim them up.
How far? About a foot?
Yeah, about a foot at least. Any leaves that will get wet when watering or rain and drape down and touch the dirt have to be removed, because from the dirt is where your funguses come from, and they will end up infecting the whole plant.
So your plant will be more healthy if you do that.
More productive and more healthy. It'll be more productive because it has better airflow. So you are pruning and what's the word I'm looking for?
Well, it's just like our grapes, our muscadine grapes.
Yes.
We prune those to be more prolific, so that they put more of the energy in the fruit we want.
Yes.
And you limit the amount of fruit, just like on an apple tree or anything else.
Here's a sucker. Right here.
Let me get over here so that...
See, here's the main vine, and here's a leaf, and that comes right out here, and that is a sucker. Now see, where the fruit is, it comes out on a stalk out from the main vine. See, this has got blooms on it.
Okay.
But this sucker comes in between, and you want to get them young, and so you can just pinch it off. And that way, instead of energy going into this, it goes into these.
Yes.
This is
into your fruit.
This is a Sweet 100. And I really didn't know how well it was going to do. I started it off, I bought it as a plant, and I bought a early girl, and the early girl just took off. And this one didn't. And I thought, well, I wonder why. And then I put them out here, and still the early girl was doing really well, and this one wasn't. And then all of a sudden, it took off. It found its sweet spot, and it took off.
And you have two main stalks on that one.
Well, this one is on the end, so I can have this one a little bushier than the ones in the middle. The ones in the middle are a little crowded, but it's just difficult for me to.
This one down here.
This one?
This
I picked off today, and I forgot to water. It was a shoot off of this one.
Okay.
And it
So
was this tall.
you pruned it? Oh wow. So you planted it
So,
quite deep, didn't you?
well, I didn't go deep because I couldn't go deep, but I went long.
Okay.
Gardner Scott on YouTube. Uh, let's see. I think it was about a year ago. I went back through a lot of his videos, and I believe it was about a year ago that he did one on planting tomatoes, on pruning tomatoes, and on that just broke. On stringing them or using cages or some kind of support because they are a vine. Uh, and
Yes, they
so
won't stand up straight without support.
no. See, here's another one. Here's another sucker. Um, and it's something that you just daily have to watch because when they're tiny like this, uh, you pick them off and there's no damage or anything. It's not a big deal. But I let this one go too long. We'll see what it looks like tomorrow. I didn't water it quick enough.
Well, it hurt nothing for you to plant it to see if
No,
you
it didn't.
can produce another plant from it.
But he had a video about you can plant um, tomato plants deep. If you look at the stalk on a tomato plant, you will see. I don't know if you can see that or not.
I don't know if we can.
Can you see it better?
I can see it actually better without your hand.
Okay. Furry. It's just
see the little hairs.
Little hairs coming out all up and down the stalk. Those will turn into roots. It's the only plant I know of in the garden family that will do that. And like I said, it's in the nightshade family. So if you plant a tomato plant just like you have it from the store, if you bought a plant and you just put it in there at the same level of dirt that is in the little pot, then it'll grow and it'll do good. But if you plant them, say if I took this and I took these leaves off, and if you're just planting them, yes, you want to take the leaves, you want to take the blooms off when you first plant them in the dirt, because you want to establish roots. That's where your strength and your health is. So you would take this and you would take off these things, and if I cut it right here, I mean if the top of the soil was right here, I'd take these off and I'd plant that sucker all the way up to here. And then when it got, a couple of feet tall, then anything low to the ground, which would be this one, I would cut off so that the fungus wouldn't be an issue. But all of these hairs will turn into roots. So this one that looks awful right now, it was long and leggy like this right here, about that tall. And so when I cut it, I thought, well, I can't go deep. But Gardner Scott said if you can't go deep, then you can go at an angle. And if you have some way to hold this end up, then, it'll go down and do this. But all of this will turn into roots and will feed nutrients up to the plant. We were out here, a week and a half ago, and we were actually over working on things under the tree, and somebody came by. They're putting in a new development behind us, and a gentleman stopped right out there on a four-wheeler and started spraying something, and it took a real toll on this plant and this one, the little one right back here.
And he didn't know.
No, he didn't know we had all
And
this.
truthfully, he had the right. He was on his property. He had the right to spray, but we had herbicide drift.
Yeah.
And he sprayed a large sumac bush is what he sprayed, and so he either sprayed something like glyphosate or 2,4-D, and it was probably a 2,4-D mixture.
But it did a number on those. I trimmed them up way high. These actually started putting we're starting to, there's another one. We're starting to put on whenever he sprayed. They were small. That's how fast some of these are growing. So I cut everything else off, and we'll see. You throw the water to it, and gardening is all an experiment anyway. You want food out of it, but it's a big experiment.
Your beans are coming up down on the other end.
Yeah, they are. This one is a sweet 100, sweet 1,000, as your daddy would say.
I think you called them sweet 1 millions.
Oh, okay. It is really doing well. This one that I pruned off is the same thing. This one is an early girl. This one is an early girl. These two are, I believe, early girls that I pruned off way back there.
They're doing well.
Yeah. But these last four are Cherokee purples. And I have an heirloom one growing in my little aquaponics, hydroponics, Miracle Grow thing Neil gave me a few years ago.
Well, these are
called Abe Lincoln.
These are heirlooms, the Cherokee purples.
Yes, they are. But the Abe Lincoln I had not heard of before. So I put some seeds in my little aquaponics thing. And first time, nothing sprouted. And then one sprouted and just sprouted like half an inch, and then it died. But now I have two of them that are like this.
Oh, you're going to have to take them out
Yes.
pretty soon, aren't you?
Tonight I'm going to have to bring them out here. So I kind of need to figure out where I'm going to put them.
Well, you can put them here
I could probably put
along
one
the
here.
front, yeah.
Well, see, we don't have any more cages right now, and I need to have some support. That's why I put these where I did. This was a sucker.
We can tie that up to those
because
cages.
It's close enough to those cages. See,
Well,
I can put something like this.
You can put one here and one
like
here.
This on one, and
you could put one over here between the beans and the.
I don't want to get too close to the beans because the beans will fill out.
And they may strangle the
I
tomato
don't want to
plant.
encroach on the beans because we have lots of tomatoes. I don't have that many beans. So, and some of these have had some.
Those are climbing beans, aren't they?
Well, they're sweet peas.
They say sugar snap on the.
Yeah, they're.
Are they?
Well, yeah, sugar snap peas. Art and Bree on YouTube. These are the ones the kids were eating off. They just pick them off. They were supposed to go to the garden and get stuff, and they were out there eating as they went.
Bree was saying they didn't make it to the house.
So anyway, I have never grown peas or beans.
How do you like our trellis? We used a partial wire hoop, a piece of cattle panel, and another piece of cattle panel.
It's just extra stuff we had. So
that's what we had left over.
His father.
I think they'll make it.
These, gosh, how many years
Well,
ago?
my dad passed in March of '06.
And he had gardened here.
Oh, he passed in March of '05, and he gardened here every bit of 10 or 15 years.
They lived in the forest, so we said, we're 5 minutes away. Come over here and use our yard. As long as I could have some tomatoes, I was thrilled with that.
Well, if
he could grow,
we moved here in '92, so if he started the first year, that was 13 years, and we started raising those muscadines pretty close to that time. So
it was about 3 or 4 years after that you started raising those. But anyway, he created these cages. Is this cattle?
No.
Is this hog wire? Or?
No, that is reinforcement wire for concrete.
Oh, is it?
That's what he said it was.
Okay. Well, that and rebar. But that's how old these are. And in the fall, you just take all your wire stuff up, and you have to realize if you do this, you have to have some place to store, which, we just pile them up in a spot over under the big tree. But rebar, you need rebar so that they'll have some substantial, because a good wind, if this fills up with tomato, as I hope it will, that's a lot of weight. So you have to have this anchored down in the ground.
And those reinforcement bars are 3/8, probably ½ inch maybe. And we put them about a foot down in the ground, and then we tie them off with wire. They work great. You can get by with one per hoop, but we usually don't. We usually put out 2.
At least the short one and a big one, long one. I also came out and replanted a bunch of flowers. I was very surprised what did not come up. I planted a boatload of marigolds out here, and they did not do anything. And these are about to bloom. I just realized it. There's a bloom.
Oh, good. It'll be nice to see some flowers.
These are a short variety of zinnias. Zinnias are easy to grow.
I think all those tall, all 3 rows
yeah,
are zinnias.
Back there against the back are zinnias, but they're a variety that will get this tall. So there's several varieties you can choose from. So what I tried to do was have tall on the back and then taper down in height. The next things you see there are asters. And I had really given up on them.
There's a partial row there.
Yeah, asters. These are asters. I put 2 rows of those in, and you see I've got 1 row between the 2.
You have a little spot of bachelor buttons there, don't you?
Well, I added bachelor buttons in here.
Okay.
I had asters, but I didn't know it. But they took forever to come up. And the zinnias just popped right up. And this is bachelor buttons.
This looks like grass in the front, but I'm sure it's
See
not.
the flowers right here?
Oh, yeah.
This is aslam.
Let's get
That's
down
how
there
I
and let
pronounce it.
everyone see it.
I pronounce it as aslam. I put verbena in here, and I'm not sure what.
I think it's Alyssum.
Alyssum?
I think so.
Well, A-L.
Why?
A-L-Y.
I think it's Alyssum.
I believe I put red on the ends, which I've never had red before, and white in the middle.
Well,
But they're tiny, tiny little seeds. And you just sprinkle them out, and you just pat them down real good. And
red's a beautiful color. Remember what that customer of mine used to say? He came in the store, and he ended up being one of our area county judges, and I asked him about his truck and the color, and he said, well, there's red and there's ugly. So apparently he liked red.
I'm not sure what this is.
It looks like a flower of some kind, though, not a weed.
Well, right over there is a willow oak.
There's 2 willow oaks over there.
That looks like a willow oak to me.
Well, it very well may be.
I mean, it could be.
We'll know soon.
Something has eaten on some of these, but I looked and I couldn't find anything. And
that kind of looks like a what are the green families?
a brassica.
A brassica, yeah.
This right here.
That one does. Anyway,
Well, it should
beginning to look like a brassica.
Well, it's been eaten on some too.
No,
and
not by a rabbit or
look,
anything like
We've
that.
got crabgrass
I know.
everywhere.
The number 1 preference of deer in the Ozarks, we found out.
We have pretty good standing crabgrass, and when we bought a new mower for here, and we took the old mower up there because we have just that small yard, and it's on the mower is on the decline. So we thought it'll last a few years up there with no more than we will mow with it. I didn't realize it had crabgrass on the deck, up under on the deck.
And we didn't clean the deck.
And we didn't clean the deck. And so after a year, we started having crabgrass, and we started having deer coming in the yard. And they were eating the crabgrass.
Skipping our clover, everything else,
We didn't have a lot of clover
eating the
back then,
crabgrass.
but anyway, it was neat to see. So I've planted verbena, and they're a shorter flower. As I said, I did high back there because of the sun, the way it travels. Oh, one thing, when you decide you're going to garden, if you have the option, I mean, sometimes you know immediately, this spot right here gets sun all day, and that's fine. But if you're doing on the fringes like we are, you really need to pay attention to where your sun comes up and where it goes down, and that changes as the seasons change. We had the discussion yesterday about where is the sun coming up. It comes up back that way, but where does it come up right now? Because the pattern that I have seen is that this is east and this is west, and it changes this way. We just had the summer solstice.
It goes more toward the northeast and then comes back to the southeast.
I have pictures of winter, late fall, with the leaves gone back over that way, and the sun was setting over there. Right now, it sits right here behind this tree. But you need to pay attention to that when you're trying to grow anything, because you can plant something and it not get enough sun. Tomatoes require a lot of sun, water and sun. So you really need to know where your sun is coming up and going down at different seasons. And of course, you know, it takes a while to do that observation when you just bought a place. And our greenhouse, that's the perfect place for us to have it due to any kind of inclement weather. Our weather comes from that way. And so
Thus the reason, excuse me for interrupting,
yeah,
but thus the reason we planted 75 cedars
as a windbreak.
As a windbreak, not for a privacy fence, but as a windbreak. And some of our neighbors were saying in our subdivision Facebook page the other day that we had some really bad wind and we needed to check our house for shingle damage, and look at ours. Perfect,
Yeah.
because we have the windbreak. And by the way, you were saying something about the apple trees and the sun, and I want to apologize to one of our viewers. I assume it's a he, posted on our page yesterday and made a comment about our apple trees and said they would do better if we cut some of those non-oaks around them and gave them more sun, that they needed 8 hours of full sun. And I thought he was talking about our trees in the yard. Here, not at Dogwood Trace up in the Ozarks. And so I commented to him, and I realized I commented wrong. I tried to erase my comment, and whenever I did, I erased his entire comment and mine too.
So you were trying to change your comment and agree with him once you realized what he was talking
Right. Thank him. And I just want to publicly thank him. And I think he was from a nursery. So before we finish up, let's go over here and look at your marigolds.
Okay.
Because they are bloomed. They've come out beautiful.
This space in here, we still haven't decided what we're going to put down on top of the fabric, if it's going to be chat or pea gravel.
Chat block or pea gravel.
This is lemon balm. There is all kinds of uses for lemon balm. My marigolds, of course, are doing good.
They are really doing well.
I planted these way back when it was still cold.
And they're just now
in the greenhouse
really beginning to bloom good. My buckeye bushes
they're just not doing well at all, and I don't understand that. They
I think,
started looking peaked, and I started watering them more. That didn't help.
I think maybe we should transplant them in the ground this weekend.
Well, unless you're going to water them, they won't survive.
Oh, well.
Maybe I would transplant them into some
bigger containers.
And that would be the next step to see.
See that yellow snake over there?
Yeah. run some of the stuff off. So there's my hawk, and I have a owl.
An owl.
My strawberry.
We have an owl.
I have a strawberry.
Oh, it ran, and so
yeah,
you.
it did a runner, so I put it, the tip of it in. It's still attached to the mother plant. And I put it in here, and something's been eating on that part. But it is doing fantastic and putting out another runner. See, I can put that part right there
Oh,
in a pot like this, and I'll have another strawberry plant. So if you do it right and you have a place that you can keep them, then you can literally have strawberry plants for years and years and years and not buy another batch. So thank you for coming along with us today.
Yeah, we really appreciate you guys spending time with us this afternoon. What you looking at, babe?
Something's eating on my willow tree in the corner. I'm losing leaves, and they're not on the ground.
Oh, well.
It's worms and caterpillars and grasshoppers. So thanks for coming along with us today as we're doing maintenance on the garden areas. We still have more plans, so stick around and keep hit the like and the subscribe, and if you hit the bell, then whenever we upload another one, you'll be notified when we're doing another project. We're trying to get a lot of things going. It's June. We are behind on a lot of things, but you can only do so much, and the best way to eat an elephant is one bite at a time, slow and sure. So thanks a lot for coming along with us. We appreciate you, and God bless you, and have a wonderful time gardening.
God bless you, everybody.